there are so many people waking up right now, especially in my life. I see it, so many people becoming conscious and aware of themselves, and that there's so much more to life than what they've been taught by their family or their school or their job. But I see that a lot of people going through that right now, it's quite a difficult transition for them. They're having to kind of break away from everything they've known before and step into this new life. And I know you've been through a similar journey, so I just really love for us today just to give them some advice, some tips on, I know for me, the last few years have been some of the best years of my life, but also the most difficult. But I wouldn't change it for the world. How's your journey been since you became more conscious and aware of what's been going on, or since you woke up?
Well, I think the word to describe really is something like magic. It's like magical. Every moment that you start like understanding how the life, nature works, and we realize we are like part of it, and we like eliminate the belief that we are just something individual from the world, and you understand that we are like everything, like we are connected to everything. So you start like stepping up from that belief or of something that you are not.
It's interesting because a lot of spiritual teachers, I know, like Lao Tzu and people like that, they teach us to be like nature. But most people that I know class humans as separate from nature. The animals and the trees and everything, that's nature, but we're a human, we're different.
Yeah.
And that's just, from in my experience, when you can learn that we're all one, that we're all connected, we are all nature, and you can start to live like that, I think for me, that's when life really started to flow.
Right.
How can people get more connected to that part of themselves?
I think the one of the best way is just observing, just step for a moment and from your head and just observe the clouds, the trees, start feeling, just appreciate in nature. You will connect. It's simple because we are always connected to nature. We are part of nature. So it's like if you see your nails or your hair, it's the same thing. You just, if you see a tree or a cloud, it's the same thing. You just realize that you are part of it.
The hair and the nails is interesting. I've heard a few people talk about that before, like try and make your nails grow faster, or try and stop them, or try and stop your hair from growing.
Yeah.
You just can't do it, right? Something that is a part of all of us, that thing that gives us energy, that gives us life, it makes your hair grow, it makes your nails grow. You don't have to do anything. The same thing that makes the grass grow.
Right.
I love that. I love that kind of understanding. So most people are brought up with a lot of very narrow beliefs, a lot of conditioning. They're told what to do, where to go, what to wear, how to be, how to act by their parents, by their schools, by everything. And this conditioning is what people then identify themselves as.
Right.
They say, I am this.
Right.
I am a banker. I am a mum. Right? They give themselves all these labels, and for me, the process of waking up is stripping away those labels and layer after layer after layer. Have you got any tips for people on how they can make that process a bit smoother, a bit easier?
Yeah, when you just like realize that it's like a big doctrination that we have at this moment, and you wake up from the dream, and that you understand. You don't even have to understand. You feel, and you go with yourself. Like you really open your heart, and you will find the answers within you. It's gonna be inside of your heart, all the answer. And when you start connecting to your heart, you won't see. You will like unleash your power. You will see like, all those are labels that you're not anything of that what you believe on all your life. Just an illusion.
I found there's a few interesting stages in the journey. So most people think they are their mind. You know, that voice that's always going, that's most of the time is quite negative, or mine was anyway. He's very judgmental, and he was always saying, you can't do it, you're never going to be good enough, and you think you're your mind. But then I found out I'm not my mind.
Well, that mind has to be there, you know. You need it. You need it to actually live the process, because it's a game. It's like a game. So if you don't have this mind, it will be so easy. There's no, and like you said, the grass have to grow, you know, and always there's gonna be a rock. There's always gonna be something. That's life. It's the process of growing and growing. So this mind is sometimes, like you say, negative, but also is like the most powerful that you have to grow. It has to be there.
I teach people that the mind is a tool, and that's what it is. It's there, it's to be used, it's a very powerful tool, but it's not you.
No, it's not you.
You're something much bigger than that.
Oh, yes.
And so I teach a lot of people to connect more with their body, to connect with their energy, and especially get into their heart, because that's where you can really start to feel your soul and who you truly are, that true essence. Do you have, how do you connect with your heart?
Okay, well, like you said, there's a steps in the process, and the beginning, you always have to train your mind. Then you understand that your mind becomes your enemy. Because you learn to, like, with discipline, and you just change it and do something like for 21, 41 days, and you train it, and so you understand you have power over it. But then becomes your enemy. Why? Because it's against you. It's against you. It's just, so you have to, like, how I connect to my heart, just breathing and observing nature. That's actually the key. Is when you observe, like, from the. I always think about the ant, like we are the ant. We are like a very tiny thing that we imagine that we are so big, and we sometimes getting stuck in problems or other people, or like trying to awake other people. But it's a nature, it's a process that is coming, whether you want it or not, it's happening, and you have to be on for the rest of the humanity, and it's gonna, a samsara and a cycle, have to do it every time. It's changing and changing, and there's not gonna be an end. It's always changing. That's a process.
I love nature as a way to think about how we can influence our life and some principles to live by. Like the sun. No one tells the sun to shine, but it just shines, right? It just does. That's its purpose. It's here to shine. And because it shines, the whole world can live. We get light, we get energy, the whole world. Rivers, they just flow. No one tells a river where to flow. It doesn't wake up in the morning and think, oh no, I've got to flow today. Like, which way am I going to flow? But because a river flows, everyone and everything can drink and can have life. And like a flower is in its bud. It's safe, it's comfortable. Now for a flower to live its purpose, it has to break out of its bud. It has to leave the comfort, everything it's ever known, to spread its petals, and so then we can see the beauty and we can get the smell and the bees can get the pollen. I think most people right now are like the flower, they're in the bud.
Right.
And they have to go through that process if they want to live their purpose. And no one has to do anything, but if you feel like you have a purpose, if you feel like you're meant to do something more, you have to go through that process of that change, turning into the flower from the bud. And that can be the scariest thing in the world. But it's all over nature. It's like the caterpillar gets in its cocoon and it probably thinks it's going to die. But then what happens? It becomes the butterfly. And I think a lot of people now, they've been in the bud for so long and they're starting to like crack out, you know, and they're starting to change. And I think one of the reasons I'm here is to help as many people as possible just understand that that's okay.
Yeah, when like for example you say about the flower, it's just the enlightening of the plant. That's when you get like enlightened, like really awake. And I like for humans, when you awake, it just you irradiate that energy, that beauty. People wants to be like that. People want to copy. People want to. You just feel. They just want to do this. They're starting doing the same thing as you, and that's the best way to awake other people. It's always like just be yourself and be like a love. Just try to be love. Try you always to be love. Imagine that you're love, like pure energy, pure light of love, and people will understand. People will feel. People will change, and without notice, you will see that you change at all the radius that you. If you travel, you connect a lot of people, and you change people. It's like a light that can illuminate a dark room, and a lot of people, like you said, it's just closed. They're gonna be start opening. It's like when you see those flowers, there's always the first one who open, and there's all of them.
Yeah,
so like a dominance.
Exactly.
So I think that's
exactly. There's a great saying I like, which is, if you want to change the world, start first by changing yourself.
Oh yeah, there's no other way. There's no other way. You can even talk and say it, but people will feel that it's just fake, just words. You know, like you sometimes you see presidents like talking, and you just know that it's not true. You just feel it's not true. Same thing with us. You just when you do something natural, you don't even have to say anything. You just be.
I think so many people now, because they are starting to wake up and they're coming into their powers and they're becoming more aware, they can feel when people are bullshitting. You can just tell, right? You get like just a sense that there's something just not quite right. They're not in alignment with what they're saying. And for me, that just turns me off straight away. So one of the things I teach people when it comes to speaking is I teach them how to first figure out who they are.
Right.
Because there's something my girlfriend actually told me, which is you can only take the audience as deep as you've gone yourself.
Right. That's true.
So if you want to take the audience on a journey, you have to do the journey first. Right? You can't lead someone somewhere you've never been. You have to. You go there first, and then you say, "Hey guys, look, I'm here," and then come with me.
Yeah.
I think one of the fastest ways I've found to help people in this process is to teach them about questioning everything. Don't just do something blindly. I think blind faith is a very dangerous thing that's been used for thousands and thousands of years to control people. It's like, do this because I told you to, or else.
Right. I think, you know what, another way we can like awake a lot of people, just say awake, is with kids. Like, stop doing indoctrination. You know, like we have like this 20 years people, they're like awakening, but a responsibility are with kids, because stop them to get in all this belief and they're going backwards. So every day we have like thousands of kids new in the world, new humans. So our responsibility is just going to the kids. The one that are not awake right now, well, we can just try to do as much as we can, but just don't effort, don't waste your energy with this kind of people. I just maybe go with the kids. That is like maybe the schools, you know, they should improve on like a class of how to handle energy, how to feel. It's better to go to the root of the problem. That is, if you go, there's a lot of science, a lot of language, or something about World War III, and that's World War. No, they don't even need to know that. It's just a waste of time and a lot of information that they're not even used. Like, for example, the wars, they teach about all the wars in the world, and what do you learn from that? If we still in a war right now, we kill like millions of humans, and there's still a war right now, killing between us, each other, same race, and so we're not learning the lesson at all. So what do we learn from the wars? That nobody wins. It's just humans and money that it is we don't learn the lessons, and they're still teaching that.
It's a lot of fear-based stuff in the news, in school. They teach you to be scared. They want you to be small. They want you to stay in your bud, because when too many people shine, when too many people come out, then it's chaos, right? And it's harder to control us. That's what I believe.
Yeah, well, I believe that there's also a kind of entity that doesn't want us to awake, It's like the mind, like we spoke, it has to be there so you can really live the process. There's a lot of like people who wants to be sleep, like wanted to control. It's about money, and so we are like in the in the other part.
So, Carlos, thank you very much for this interview today and for sharing your things.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask you, if you could leave people with one thing, one piece of advice that you think could really help someone who's watching right now, what would that one piece of advice be?
I think live based on compassion. I think like kindness is something that we need to work. That's what human. Like we have to really live on kindness and see other people like they have the same necessities as you. They need you the same thing as you, and they're looking for answers like you, and they got feelings. So just see other people like you. They're suffering, they're scared, they have fear, but they also have the power to create, and we are all gods, at the end.
Beautiful. There's a really great quote I love, which is, you can't help anybody that you worry about. Like as soon as you think someone can't handle it, you're giving away all their power. And so the greatest way to help people is just to work on yourself, is to work on your self-belief so much. Just like the sun is to shine, right? You need to shine, or just like a river, you need to flow. When you're shining, when you're flowing, when you blossom, then all the people around you, they will feel the benefits of that. They'll feel your light, they'll get your water, they'll get your energy, they'll get everything that they need to sustain themselves and grow, just like a flower.
Yeah, also other people, when like you see something that you don't like other people, just be awake. It's showing you what you need to change. We are all mirrors. Yeah. So to stop like thinking, just understand what is happening. What is happening when you go. There's always a message for a source. Always, every second. So if you see a people that just make you feel angry or hate or something, it's just showing you what you need to change to evolve faster. So use all those feelings to evolve. I think that's a really a good key to evolve like faster.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So everyone, this is Carlos Lozano, and he's kind of a ninja. So you won't find him anywhere yet, but I've got a feeling he's going to be a superstar in the future, and he's going to be that flower. He's going to be the sun. He's going to shine even more.
Thank you.
Amazing, brother. Thank you.